Okay, we are back. Sports Mashup number 117. And I will say, it's August 3rd when we're recording this. We're a day late, but that is neither here nor there. I will say, when I looked up the term sports mashup on YouTube, I don't know why I did that, but I did it at some point in the last month that we haven't been here. I did see another channel that was created a few months ago with the same name. And they don't really have any videos. They have a lot of YouTube shorts of sports. So just something to think about. Maybe we make a name change at some point. I wouldn't put that out of the question just because, I get that we created this 2 years before that channel was created, but,
And we just got new logos.
Yeah, well, somewhere down the road, maybe we'll see. But anyway, let's get back into it here. The NBA free agency period took place after we took the month of July off, so there are some free agency updates to get to.
Yeah, I mean, our last recording date was 6/28.
Just after the draft.
So, I mean, a lot more than what we're going to say has happened, but a big one was the Celtics signed Porzingis to a 2-year, $16 million extension to his deal.
Yeah, they traded for him before the draft, I believe, from Washington, I guess.
Yeah.
So
right after the Bradley Beal deal.
Yeah. So then Fred VanVleet signed with the Rockets, 3 years, $130 million. I think the big thing to look at with a lot of these NBA contracts is the structure and the different levels of bonuses and options and such. So it's not really just a straight up $130 million deal for VanVleet. But either way, the Rockets really did some interesting things, which is kind of what you have to do when you have that many young players.
Yeah, like when I was looking at all the transactions for free agency, like they made a lot of moves and brought a lot of players in, some veterans, and then they got the young core already.
They signed a lot of like front-loaded veteran, like Jock Landale signed there, I believe, for like 3 years and $30 million, and Jock Landale is not a $30 million player, so I think there was some upfront and option stuff.
Yeah.
So,
and then you got Kyrie staying with the Mavs, 3 years, $126 million.
Yeah, I don't think this is surprising at all. I think Kyrie was always going to stay with the Mavs.
I also, we'll get to the other one later. I like that they're getting shooting back. They finally let go of Reggie Bullock. Get out of here.
Yeah. Which those guys are only useful when they're facing the Suns. Like if the Mavs are playing the Suns, Reggie Bullock, Tim Hardaway Jr., Maxi Kleba, those guys all make every single shot when they're playing the Suns. But other than playing the Suns, they stink.
Though I still do miss them having Dorian Finney-Smith.
It was a big loss. That was the Nets. The Nets did pretty well in those two trades, about as well as they could do for a team that had two guys that didn't want to be there. So the Hawks traded Rudy Gay, Ty Washington, Usman Garuba, and a second-round pick to Oklahoma City for Patty Mills. Hawks saved $4.5 million in the deal. Then I think Rudy Gay got traded somewhere else.
Yeah,
he got traded. Didn't he get traded to the Hawk for John Collins?
Yeah, I didn't even know Rudy Gay was still playing in the league. I thought his knees were shot.
Yeah, he was with the Jazz, I guess. So interesting.
And then Patty Mills just got traded to the Hawks in a deal with the Nets.
Yeah. So a couple different trades.
And then Kings and center Domantas Sabonis agreed to a 5-year, $217 million deal.
Yeah, had a great year last year. So
led the league in rebounds.
Yeah.
And
had up there in field goal percentage as well.
Yeah, had a good amount of double-doubles, triple-doubles.
Yeah, there's not very many centers that are better, at least in the regular season, than him. And I know it's not that important of a position
you could
overall
say
anymore. Yeah, I said not that many.
Jokic, Embiid. Brook Lopez, though, I mean, he gets rebounds. He doesn't score that much, but he's a paint
good,
defender.
But he's not better than Sabonis.
He's not as athletic.
I think he's more useful in the playoffs than Sabonis.
He's more of a standard, what we knew center.
Which is not what he was at all early in his career. So I think he's lengthened his career by turning into that. It's very useful for a team like Milwaukee who re-signed him.
Yeah.
He was about to sign with the Rockets, by the way, Brook Lopez.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, you know what? I'm going to go to the Bucks. I think he
I'll
stayed
stay
for less money. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll stay here.
Yeah.
I have the honors here.
Smart. Yeah. So the Beals of the Suns move done, official. The Suns also unveiled new uniforms earlier in the week.
I saw them. They're like a mix between new and the old ones.
Yep. I think it's so much. Their previous two home and aways were just awful. I mean, it's been pretty bad for a while since the Steve Nash era, probably, but I think they did well with these. And the Suns also made a number of free agent signings with Utah Watanabe from the Nets, 3-point shooter on a minimum, Keita Bates-Diop on a minimum, Drew Eubanks, a lot of like lengthy, versatile, kind of underrated guys that are going to come off the bench. They signed Eric Gordon. So they did a lot with the veteran minimums. I think the Suns bench is going to be a lot better than it was going into free agency, and
I also saw
it should be better than last season.
Victor Oladipo going back to OKC from the Heat.
Yeah, and the Heat are kind of waiting to see if they're going to be able to get the Damian Lillard deal done. We'll see if that
but supposedly Portland doesn't want Hero.
Which I understand, because if you look at Portland, they have Scoot Henderson, they have Anthony Simons, they have plenty of guards. So I think if you're Portland, you got to try to push to get Adebayo, even though you're probably not. But you got to push for that at least. Yeah. Or you take Hero and try to flip him for a 4 or 5, I guess.
And the Mavs don't have, like, I wish like a Bam or someone like that could go to Dallas, but they don't have, like, they have to give up Kyrie or Luka. They don't have a bigger name to, unless it'd be a multi-person like Kluba and others.
Yeah. And then Seth Curry going back to the Mavs.
Adding his shooting. And him and Kyrie have played together, went to college together.
Yeah. And then Michael Jordan finalizes the sale of majority stake in the Charlotte Hornets officially today. Obviously bought it for a lot less than he sold it for. So it's pretty good business.
Yeah, he sold it to Gabe Plotkin and Rick Schnall.
Yep.
200, or he had it for 13 years, will hold a minority stake. Purchase was made at approximately $3 million valuation. Jordan paid at $275 million for a majority stake in the franchise in 2010.
Yeah. New values of the NBA today. Team values are high.
Hey, which means he made a heck of an investment.
Yep. All right. On to the NFL, where we have, I will say, the Hall of Fame game tonight between the Browns and the Jets.
But this first thing shocked the crap out of me. Bring back Sonny Michel out of Georgia, I believe, right?
Yeah.
Retires after just 5 seasons, though he's got 2 Super Bowl rings. One with the Patriots and one with the Rams.
I get the feeling that his knees were probably shot.
And something
usually what happens to running backs. Not everyone can be like Adrian Peterson and put up huge numbers with no knees.
Well, especially as much as like he was used as a running back harder in LA, but he was a scat back with James White in New England.
Yeah.
And then you had DeAndre Hopkins go to the Titans, which he made that list of his 5 quarterbacks he wanted to play for. Ryan Tannehill wasn't one of those 5.
Yeah, which makes a lot of sense. So, I don't know. Titans able to give him a little bit more money. He's a clear number 1 for them. He's going to get a lot of reps. The Titans could have just re-signed A.J. Brown and avoided all this, but whatever. We'll see how it goes. I mean, you're in a bad division, so you might as well try to get better.
No, and then you can, since we're on the Titans, go ahead and read the last one.
Yeah, there's the running back issues all over.
Yeah, you get Derrick Henry unsigned.
Is he unsigned?
Or is he just not? Is he holding out?
I don't think it's Derrick Henry. Or Josh Jacobs.
Well, Josh Jacobs is for sure.
I thought he was the only one holding out.
I thought Dalvin Cook wasn't. Or was?
He's just not signed yet. He got released by Minnesota. He's probably going to sign with Miami. But Derrick Henry signed a 4-year, $50 million contract, and it's up at the end of this year. So,
Yeah, but he wants more money. Saquon won more money. He got a 1-year deal. Who else is up there?
Josh Jacobs is holding out.
Leonard Fournette.
Yeah, I think the main thing is that they think they should be paid more because all the other positions' values are going up. But the problem for them is that there's so many running backs and there's so many examples where
Jonathan Taylor.
There you go. Yeah. That's the big one, too, because he requested a trade.
Yeah.
We'll see how
supposedly the Chiefs are in talks for that. And if they got Jonathan Taylor, watch out.
Yeah.
I'm sure Clyde Edwards-Helaire would have to be in that trade.
I mean, do the Colts want him?
Well, I mean, he's already probably still on his rookie deal.
Yeah, I guess.
And you don't use him anyway.
True.
But then you had a lot of training camp injuries already. Joe Burrow with his knee went down just on a rollout.
I think it was a calf strain.
Jalen Ramsey.
That's like a meniscus thing, I think, but he should be back by like week 5 or 6.
Yeah, they signed Eli Apple after Jalen's injury. The Broncos registered Tim Patrick tore his ACL on Monday. And KJ Hamler stepping away for a bit with a heart issue, but plans to be back at some point this season. So that really hurts the Broncos receiving core. Because what do you got left there? Just Jerry Jeudy?
Jerry Jeudy and
Cortland Sutton.
Yeah. Jerry Jeudy, Cortland Sutton, Marvin Mims Jr.
Oh, yeah.
Marquez Callaway. Yeah, it's pretty bad up to those 3. And Marvin Mims is a
Marcus Callaway, though, is that rookie. A dude that Peyton had in New Orleans?
Yeah. I had him 3 years in New Orleans, or 2 years when he was there, I guess.
He was our speed guy.
And he had his best year when he had almost 700 yards in Sean Payton's last year in New Orleans. So, we'll see. The Commanders were officially sold to a group led by Josh Harris, who I believe also owns the 76ers and the Devils. So Magic Johnson also part of that group.
Which, I mean, needed done a long time ago. I don't know what took so long to get that deal done.
Yeah, I think the fact that it's Josh Harris, I think you probably feel good if you're the Commanders fans. The guy's worth estimated anywhere from 6.5 to 8.4 billion as of last month. He was born in a place called Chevy Chase, Maryland. So I believe he grew up a fan of the Redskins at the time. And anything is better than Dan Snyder, I would say, if you're a Washington fan. So, and it looks like they might be changing the name again. So we'll see what happens.
Well, there's a petition for them to change it back to the Redskins.
They should change it to the football team again, which was,
Yeah, I don't think there's any after the league and everyone made them change to the Redskins. Whatever petition is signed, I doubt it's going to be going back to the Redskins.
Yeah, it's not happening. But Commanders is just a stupid name. Anyway, I'm fascinated by the fact there's a place called Chevy Chase, Maryland. It's a name of both a town and an unincorporated census-designated place that straddles the northwest border of Washington, D.C. and Montgomery County, Maryland. Very cool that exists. But anyway, this guy went to Wharton School Business and, Harvard. Or he's a board member at Harvard Business School. So this guy, Josh Harris, smart guy. All right, on to golf, where we've missed a lot.
Yeah, when we left last, you had the Rocket Mortgage Classic. Winner was Ricky Fowler, won a 3-man playoff with Morikawa and Hadwin.
I had Ricky Fowler to win, by the way.
Won $1.6 million, shot 24 under.
Had Ricky Fowler to win. Finally got it correct that he won a tournament when I picked him to win.
And we didn't even pick that tournament.
Yeah, we did. I had it in my notes.
Yeah, but I don't think we ended up picking because we just had the match. Or wait, no, we did.
Yeah, I
I
picked
had Ricky as top 5.
There you go. We should have an extra point added on if you pick the winner correctly. Maybe we should put that in place for the next tournament.
Double dip.
Like if you get a winner right, it's worth 2. If you get top 5 and the rest, it's worth 1.
Yeah,
something like that. But anyway,
then you had the match winner, Mahomes and Kelsey.
Got that one wrong.
Kind of ran away with it.
Yeah, that was a boring match. Pretty useless if you ask me. But
it was more better on the commentary side than the golf side.
A lot of those are like that. You had the John Deere Classic. The winner was Sepp Straka. 1.3 million purse, shot 21 under. Pretty weak field there. Really Cameron Young and Ludwig Aberge. I can't remember how it's pronounced. I always forget, but pretty weak field of the John Deere. But Sepp Straka playing some good golf.
Yeah, and then you had the Genesis Open winner was Rory. Won 1.6 million, shot 15 under.
Genesis Scottish Open, of course. Make sure you put the word Scottish in there.
Oh.
Because there's a Genesis Invitational at Riviera in February. But anyway, the winner of the Open Championship, Brian Harmon, $3 million purse, wins the 4th major of the year, 13 under, likely to secure a spot on the Ryder Cup team for the U.S. The 2 qualified and official members of the U.S. Ryder Cup team, which is late next month at Marco Simone in Rome, are Scotty Scheffler and Wyndham Clark, both officially qualified. There's 6 qualifiers, 6 captain's picks, 4 more guys to qualify for the U.S. side. Assuming it'll probably be 4 more will be Brian Harmon, Brooks Koepka, Patrick Cantlay, Xander Schauffele would be my guess. And then obviously 6 picks after. So Brian Harmon won by 6 shots, blitzed the field, played well all week, consistent. So he wins his first major. So the last 2 majors of the year, we have first-time major winners this year.
Yeah, and then 3M Open winner was Lee Hodges, won 1.4 million, shot 24 under. Also the same week, you had the Barracuda Championship. Ashke Bafia, I believe is how you pronounce his last name, won in a 1-hole playoff. He won the tournament shooting +4. It says +40.
Well, it's a Stableford format, I think, a points system where you get points for certain scoring. So plus and
yeah, it was showed like +6, +8, +17, +9.
So how many points he got each day.
You know, when I first read that, I'm like, wait, how do you win shooting +40?
Well, if you want to look at scores like that, you look at the Senior Open Championship last week where Padraig Harrington and Alex Sejka played in the playoff, and the winning score was like 5 over because of the conditions that are being just torture. Okay, you got this week the Wyndham Championship going on right now, so we won't be picking it this week. We'll have next week. Next week is the first leg of the FedEx Cup playoffs, the St. Jude Championship next week. We'll pick that. Defending champion of the Wyndham Championship is Tom Kim. He's not playing this week, though, due to an injury. Sedgefield Country Club in Greensboro, North Carolina.
Yeah, currently Adam Scott is 5 under through the round, so he's currently sitting at 1.
All right, let's go over to college.
Yeah, like you said, next week's FedEx St. Jude Championship. Last year's winner was Will Zalatoris at TPC Southwind in Memphis, Tennessee.
Yep.
College hoops athletes charged for gambling in the Iowa State game. There was like 7 players cited in this.
Yeah, no thoughts on this story from me.
One was like a walk-on or a red shirt punter kicker that gambled through his mom's account up to $4,400, made multiple bets on it on the under 45, and the game hit at 44.
I mean, it's Iowa football, so I think the total score in the Illinois-Iowa game last season was 13. So it's Iowa ball. Bronny James had a cardiac arrest issue in practice for USC. Very scary situation there. Luckily, he's okay. This is the 2nd straight year I think a player at USC has had an issue like this. So we'll see what happens there. I assume you can't have him playing to start the season. You got to get him cleared and everything, and I don't think it would be good optics for him to be out there on opening night. or good for him. So we'll see. Obviously, well wishes to him, but seems like he's doing all right. I think he's at home now. Spent a short time in ICU before getting out of that. So,
And then you got Florida State talking about leaving the ACC due to revenue distribution.
and there's a lot of rumors going around how the Big Ten could expand to 20. They're going to be at 16 once USC and UCLA are there. The 4 rumored schools, I believe, are
Well, that's what. Look at the next thing.
yeah. There you go. Big Ten eyeing expansion with Pac-12 instability, which is not surprising. I think we all knew this was going to happen at some point. So Oregon could be in the mix here. Florida State could be in the mix. That would get them to 18. And then the other 2 were Clemson, which is an ACC school, and I don't remember the 4th one.
Guess another Pac-12 school.
Washington, yeah. So that would make the Big Ten an absolute super conference in football. Maybe not. I feel like you could. Is it really to the level of the SEC? No. But you have Oregon, Michigan, Ohio State, and Clemson, and USC. That's a pretty. I mean, that top 5 I think is better than the SEC's top 5, but the SEC is so much deeper. And also, let's not forget about schools like Penn State and UCLA's got Chip Kelly. They're always going to be something. And Washington's not a very, they're a fine football school. Florida State could be on the rise. That would be really bad for somebody who wants Illinois to be good, and Illinois' program is on the rise a little bit, and now they're going to deal with that. It'd be an insane football conference, no doubt. But it is sad to see the Pac-12 go down like this. But it was expected once you see UCLA and USC leaving, plus Colorado going to the Big 12. Not that Colorado's a powerhouse school, but pretty good basketball program. And
no, I'd say if anything, like whatever the Big 10 doesn't take, I could see the Big 12 picking up the rest after losing Texas and Oklahoma.
Yeah, I mean, the Big 12's been adding a lot too. I would think the ACC, if they're going to lose Clemson and Florida State, they got to figure something out.
Well, where's Notre Dame? They're still I still think they need to be in a conference.
Well, they are in basketball, at least, they have to be in basketball. I mean, it wouldn't make any sense for them not to be, but yeah, I could see some of the remaining Pac-12 schools, unless the Pac-12 just wants to move forward with like Washington State and Oregon State as their powerhouse programs.
Watch out.
Which I don't think that can actually happen at this point. All right, Major League Baseball.
Yeah, the NL wins their first All-Star game since 2012.
And you also had the Cubs beat the Yankees on July 7th, 2023 for the first time in history at Yankee Stadium, 3-0. And bit of a surprising stat given the history and the number of times that the Cubs and the Yankees have played baseball games. But you have the balanced schedule now, so they're going to be playing each other every year. So that would mean they're going to Yankee Stadium every other year. Happens the first year is bound to happen, I guess. And I'm assuming when they did go to New York, they just got smoked because there was a lot of years the Yankees were great. Cubs were not. There you go. The MLB trade deadline was 2 days ago. It was on August 1st, and you had a flurry of moves heading into it.
Yeah, the Mets pitcher Max Scherzer to the Rangers for prospect infielder Luis Angel Acuna, which is the younger brother of Ronald Acuna Jr.
Yeah, the Mets sent a lot of money to Texas to try to get this deal to work, as Acuna is the third-ranked prospect in the Rangers system. He has like 50 stolen bases and 30 doubles in the minors this year. He's a really good prospect. I like the deal a lot for the Mets, especially since Scherzer stinks now in his performance today. He gave up 3 runs in the first inning. I don't know how he's doing after that in his Rangers debut, but he stinks now. Anyway, the Dodgers trade for pitchers Lance Lynn and Joe Kelly from the White Sox. Gave up a couple pitching prospects, I believe, in the deal.
It's 4-3 Texas.
So he gave up 3 runs in the first inning, and that's it.
But I don't think he's in the game anymore.
Probably not. He threw 37 pitches in the first inning.
Oh, this is through 7. He pitched 6 innings.
Oh, solid. Give him 6, give up 3. That's not bad. That's doable.
7 hits, 3 runs, 3 earned, 2 walks, 9 strikeouts. Threw 105 pitches.
Yeah, I would take that, but he's just not the dominant guy that he once was. But he's also like 38, so who's surprised?
Though they'll probably get the win.
And he's still got an opt-out for next season.
Yeah, and they went ahead in the fourth, so he's standing at the moment to get the win. And Joe Kelly's back in L.A.
Yep. He was
Where
there a
he
few
went from
years ago.
what? Did he go from St. Louis to the Dodgers to Boston?
I think he went St. Louis to Boston. There might have been somewhere else in between, but then he's with the Dodgers, and then he's with the White Sox.
So two former Cardinal pitchers going to the Dodgers.
Yep.
Angels have added Luca Giolito and Ronaldo Lopez from White Sox, plus C.J. Cron and Randall Grichuk from the Rockies.
Angels holding on to Ohtani, trying to go for it. See how it works out. Probably won't. The Cardinals traded Jordan Hicks to the Blue Jays and Jordan Montgomery and Chris Stratton to the Rangers for 3 prospects. 3 prospects in that deal, and then 2 prospects in the Hicks deal. Big fan of that.
Ethan and I were talking about this before we started recording, that I hated this. I hated giving up Chris Stratton because I thought he was one of our best relievers.
Well, yeah, the counterpoint that I brought up was the fact that the Cardinals are bad this year. He's a free agent at the end of the year. If he's pitching well, he's got value. They don't need him because they're not contending. He could help out a winner. So we'll see if they re-sign him. I think they liked him a lot too, especially since he pitched a ton. He was like an innings eater, but, solid.
And then Cardinals trade Jack Flaherty to the Orioles for 3 prospects, and shortstop Paul DeYoung to the Blue Jays for prospect Matt Swanson, who's a pitcher.
Yeah, they added a lot of pitching prospects, really replenished the system. I think they did pretty well at the deadline. I think the Flaherty deal might be the best one. They got 3 pretty useful prospects.
They only got 1 infielder out of all the trades, right?
I think they got 2. They got Thomas Segase, I don't know how to say it, in the Montgomery Stratton deal from the Rangers, who's batting over 300 in the minors. They got Cesar Prieto from the Orioles in the Flaherty deal. He's also batting over 300 in the minors. So
I was kind of curious too to see if they were going to do anything with Contreras.
Yeah, I think the problem with that is that they probably still believe in him, which they should. It's only year 1. His offensive numbers have gotten better over the last couple months. Fielding's still a bit of a concern, but the team stinks now, so just throw him in at catcher and hopefully it improves and he gets more comfortable with the system or whatever they want to call it.
But I just meant with Kisner's been decent.
Yeah, Kisner stinks though.
And then was it Herrera?
Herrera was good. They need to bring him back up.
So that's why you're in a 3-catcher standstill there.
I don't really consider Kisner anything future-wise. He can be a catching coach or consultant or something. Anyway, yeah. The problem with the Contreras is that they probably would have had to eat some money to get prospects back to trade them, and they were never going to do that, especially 1 year into it. Marlins send Garrett Cooper to Padres, and then they acquire Josh Bell from the Guardians for Gene Segura and Khalil Watson. I believe the Guardians are also releasing Gene Segura, so maybe he'll go back to Philadelphia. Be a nice bench bat for them, or fielder off the bench. I don't know.
And then the Mets trade Justin Verlander back to the Astros for their number 1 prospect, Drew Gilbert, and number 4 prospect, Ryan Clifford, both outfielders.
I think it's a great deal for the Mets. They don't really have a very good future in terms of outfielders right now. They have Nimmo signed long-term, but then outside of that, Marte's got like 2 years left after this year on his contract. He's been terrible.
Well, and with your next thing, Tommy Pham goes from the Mets to Diamondbacks, so you just lost another outfielder.
And they traded Mark Canha to the Brewers. So both Canha and Pham were outfielders who were free agents at the end of the year. But, Gilbert and Clifford are 2 really good ads. And if you trade Verlander, or if you trade Scherzer, you probably need to trade Verlander. Verlander was good for the Mets, but
does Verlander now? Did the Astros just overpay for him though, giving up their number 1 and number 4 prospect?
Well, I will say that Drew Gilbert is a top 100 prospect, but their system's not very deep. So it's not like the normal, like a lot of teams have number 1 prospects that are in like the top 30 or 35 in baseball. I think Gilbert was in the 60s. He's a good prospect, but I mean, I would do that again because Verlander's still pitching well. He's comfortable in Houston. He's got another year on his contract next year. And I think it makes sense in that regard. So,
and I guess their team's kind of set. Their lineup and everything.
Yeah. And they got another guy now to help out Valdez because it seems like their rotation hasn't been very good this year. He threw a no-hitter this week, so there you go. And like you said, Pham going from the Mets to the Diamondbacks.
And then Phillies acquire starter Michael Lorenzen from the Tigers.
And he made his debut today.
Which he's the guy who used to pitch for the Reds, correct?
Yep, he was a reliever. Then I think he might have played outfield a little bit, trying different things out.
Well, like I think they'd put him in the outfield in like late games.
He was a good hitter, yeah.
And it was like right after his dad passed or something, he had a home run.
Yeah, I remember that. Yep.
Player of the week.
Yeah, I probably should have redone the stats because I guess he probably would have played last night, but this is from like Tuesday night or something when I wrote this. But I went with Shohei Ohtani, 8 for 15 in the games that I wrote down. It was like 6 games or something, 5 games, whatever. 3 home runs, 4 RBIs, a double, 5 walks, 4 runs. And then against the Tigers, he threw a complete game shutout with 9 strikeouts and only gave up 1 hit in the same day where he hit 2 home runs as well. A lot of this damage was done in one day.
I took Cleveland's first baseman Josh Naylor, 8 for 23, 3 doubles, 3 RBIs, 1 run, 3 walks, no strikeouts.
And that's why you trade Josh Bell, because you have Josh Naylor. Stupid.
Who would think, though, hurt his side, so someone else might be playing first base.
Well, there you go. On to the NHL.
It's wrote first, a moment of silence as an all-time legend retires, Boston center Patrice Bergeron.
Okay.
He won another Selke, right?
Yeah, he won. He got 7, I believe, to finish it off. Also lost 1 and 2 in the Stanley Cup final. Okay. NHL offseason.
Wow.
Stuff that we missed. I didn't bring up who he lost to. I just said that he lost to. It's not his fault, I guess. But
the Blackhawks and the fucking Blues.
Yeah, there you go. But did beat Vancouver, so congrats. You beat up on a shit Canadian franchise. All right. He did win a cup, did win 7 Selkies. He is a first ballot Hall of Famer, no doubt. But I will say I don't think he is in the landscape of all-time centers the way that Bruins fans think he is. Like, I don't think he's a top 5 center of all time. I think he's up there, but I wouldn't feel good putting him top 5. That's not to knock the guy either. I
just said an all-time legend. I didn't say an all-time center.
I think he's more a Boston legend than NHL legend.
I mean, he's one of the best two-way players to play in the league.
Yeah, that's the thing. But, like, I wouldn't put him top 5 centers of all time. Like, I think Gretzky, Lemieux.
Yeah.
I think Ron Francis is better, but Boston fans wouldn't agree with that. But anyway, yeah, congrats to him. A great career. Obviously, tough way to go out this year with how good their team was in the regular season. There's a couple other things we'll talk about with the Bruins that are a little confusing to me, but let's get into a few offseason things we missed. I just added all the signings of note over the last month that were like over $5 million per year, $4 million or whatever. And then the top 3 picks in the draft went a little bit differently than we thought. Same 3 players, but reversed. Obviously, Bedard went number 1 to the Blackhawks. Leo Carlsson went number 2 to the Ducks. And Adam Fantilli went number 3 to the Blue Jackets. The consensus thought going in was that it would be Bedard, Fantilli, Carlsson, but it ends up being Bedard, Carlsson, Fantilli. So I think that's great for Columbus. I think that, that's a guy you could have as your number 1 center someday next to, if Patrick Laine is still there, and then Johnny Gaudreau. So, yeah, I think the Blue Jackets are pretty set at center for the future with also having Kent Johnson and somebody else's name that I forgot still in the mix. So, Cole Perfetti? No, that's Jets. Whatever. So there you go. And then a few signings. This one just happened a couple of days ago. Vladimir Tarasenko signed a 1-year deal with the Ottawa Senators. Speaking of the Ottawa Senators, the big reason they got Tarasenko is because they traded Alex DeBrincat to the Detroit Red Wings. He was also extended by the Red Wings. And I don't know why I wrote Bertuzzi to Toronto twice, but I'll just let you officially say that for your part.
Orlov to Carolina, Killorn to the Ducks, and Bertuzzi to Toronto. So
the Bruins lose Bergeron. They're probably going to lose Krejci because I think if Bergeron retires, I think Krejci retires.
The second time.
Yep, they had.
I don't know if he retired the first time. He did
go to the Czech league, so I guess he was still playing. But so Don Sweeney's in a tough spot here, I think, because some of the signings that he made this summer made no sense to me. Such as, do you really need to be throwing Milan Lucic and James Van Riemsdyk in your lineup to 35-year-olds. I mean, I know it's only $1 million, but like, can't you find some younger players?
Like,
some
I don't
better
mind the Van
players?
Riemsdyk thing, but why would we bring him Lucic back?
Yeah, I don't. It's just this feels pointless.
He's not that
to
good
me.
of a skater. He's more of a brawler.
He's not going to play every game, and he's probably going to play like 9 minutes a night. So have fun paying $1 million for that there, Sweeney. Stupid. And their defense, I mean, it's fine. Kevin Shattenkirk, what's he going to do? Whatever. You still got Lindholm and McAvoy. You still got Carlo and Grizzly. You still got Forbert. And then I guess your third pair right D is either Zaboral or Shattenkirk. But they kept both goaltenders, which, I mean, they did trade Taylor Hall to get some cap flexibility. But I just don't really
Which
get
could be another thing what makes Krejci want to leave because that was his running mate.
I really don't get what they're trying to do here.
Why'd you get rid of Orlov after all he did in the short time he was there?
Well, I understand why they couldn't re-sign Orlov, because if you look at the money that he got from Carolina, Boston couldn't do that.
Oh.
It was a 3-year deal or 2-year deal, and it was 7.75 per. Boston.
What Bertuzzi get from Toronto?
That's the one that has got to annoy Boston fans. I know Bertuzzi was looking for a multi-year deal. Boston didn't want to do that. He ends up going to Toronto and signing 1 year 5.5. I think Boston could have swung that. The problem for the Bruins is that they made moves already before that, and Bertuzzi waited a week or two to sign, I think, or something. Might have been like a day or two. Actually, I don't even remember. But that's a tough one there. If you could have – Boston really, really should have tried hard to get Bertuzzi for 1 year. And I don't remember if the story goes as Toronto had a chance or Boston had a chance to match Toronto and they didn't, or Boston never had a chance to match Toronto. I don't remember which part of the story it is, but after how good Bertuzzi was and he signed somewhere else, a direct competitor for 1 year, that's tough.
Yeah.
And, so we'll see what Boston is. They're definitely not going to be as good as they were last year, but they might actually be the fringe playoff team this year that we thought they'd be last year. So
I'm glad they kept both goaltenders.
Yeah, I mean, right now they have $429,000 in cap space with nobody really left to sign, so they should be pretty set going in. But I think this is probably the last year of Swayman in Boston because he's an RFA next year, and if he has another good year, he's going to be making more than they can afford. They're not going to want to pay $5 million to Olmark and $5 million to Swayman. That's just not going to happen. But, Boston's model of trying to keep all the salary cap numbers as low as possible is kind of going out the door with McAvoy making 9.5 and Pasternak making 11.2. Those guys obviously deserve that in the marketplace with how good they are at their position, but Sweeney's going to have to navigate some other things because he's not going to have Bergeron making what should be viewed as an illegal number with how low that was last year to try and win. So we'll see how they tackle it. And I assume Marchand will probably be their next captain, although it wouldn't surprise me to maybe see McAvoy. Or maybe they leave it open for a year. Who knows?
I could also see it going to Pasta with them giving him that big, long deal.
That's true, but you got to think Marchand spends the rest of his career in Boston. He's got 2 years left on his contract, and he'll probably sign another one.
Yeah, but though it makes me think that since Pasta's already there for so long, that he might get it just because all of them have been long term.
Yeah, I mean, really your options in that case would be McAvoy and
Pasta.
Yeah, because McAvoy's got 7 years left, and Pasta's deal kicks in this year. I believe he's got 8. So, yeah. All right. I think that'll do it for us. We will be back.
I went 4-4.
Oh, yeah, I didn't even calculate mine.
In a month ago's betting, I'm now 896 and 616.
I'll have to calculate mine next week. But I will say I did get Ricky Fowler correct.
I was told that we have to talk about SummerSlam is Saturday.
Whatever that is, yeah.
WWE SummerSlam Saturday.
That'll be great. I'm sure everybody will enjoy. All right. We'll do picks next week. We'll be back number 118 next week, and we will see everybody then.
Deuces.